We're actually running on time. This is almost unheard of when we've had this many talks. We've done quite well today. So there is one last thing before I wrap up. So a couple months ago, especially if you're local or pay attention to our socials, I was like, okay, we're going to do a bit of a BSides community meetup. And we met at the Frog and Fiddle in town. And the handful of people, I went, okay, what do you want to hear at BSides? And we got tech talks. But one thing that did get brought up was the Golden Valley development. So if you guys are not local, you probably haven't heard of the big giant cyber innovation park that is going in right off the Golden Valley, aka next door, right to a very large donut building. That is really going to be the center and new hub for innovation in tech. I'm not going to do it justice. So what I will do is ask Jeremy to come up, and he runs Factory and is one of the partners in the project, and let him do a bit of a talk. And then I will be back with a couple closing statements, and then we will all head up to, I'm not going to give you the floor yet, so you have to stay. I know better. To the after party, and then we will all get to relax a little bit. Jeremy.
So thank you. Thanks for having me. I think first and foremost, I know firsthand how difficult it is to organize these events. So Ilyana, your team, all the volunteers, on behalf of me, I think on behalf of everyone, maybe we can give them a round of applause. I'm one of the last of the day. So as Ilyana mentioned, she approached me very recently, actually, and said, look, everyone wants to hear about an update about Golden Valley. And I thought, great, I'm going to be the guy between all of you and the infamous after party. So maybe I'll just put together a couple slides and whiz through it. And then I thought to myself, like, I have all of you gathered here today. Maybe I could put something together and we can engage a little bit. I can position something to you. I can give you a bit of history of the project and explain a little bit about why I'm so passionate about it, why we're so passionate about it, working on it. So for those of you who know about it, I apologize to go back in the history a little bit, but I think it'll be good for context. So I'll dive in. I think elephant in the room, you're probably looking at the last slide. For those of you who maybe don't know, what's an innovation district? What's this guy up here talking about this buzzword, innovation district? It's like AI nowadays, all the ecosystem, all these buzzwords. About 2014, years ago, I kept hearing this term again and again and again and again. And I think I did what any somewhat techie, nerdy, obsessive guy would do. And I headed to Google Trends. So I looked at what was trending. At the time, Stranger Things was a big show, big conference. You'll see the peaks and the spikes with the 2 seasons of Stranger Things. Cryptocurrency, another big term, big trending term. Looked at that. And then I compared it to innovation districts. So I'll read out the long, notable definition that Bruce Katz and Julie Wagner, 2 researchers who launched a report with the Brookings Institute, launched in 2014. But you'll see it. I mean, compared to the other 2, it was like a slow and steady up and to the right curve. There are lots of people like me interested in this term just reading about it. So let me scroll down to the more dense definition. We have innovation district, geographic areas where leading edge anchor institutions and companies cluster and connect with startups, business incubators, and accelerators. They are also physically compact, transit accessible, and technically wired, and offer mixed use housing, office, and retail. So we got the dense definitions out of the way. A bit about me. I'm an entrepreneur. I think many of you who know me, that's kind of just a fancy word for wearing lots of hats. I'm co-founder of a company called Factory. I'm a director of HBDX Factory, which is the developer selected to build out the Golden Valley development. I'm a key face as part of the development, so I think some of you have seen me running around town, but you'll see more of me. And I do a lot of different activities and initiatives. I'm really plugged into the European startup community. So I wear lots of hats around Europe, supporting startups and different communities. So something that you'll all probably know very, very well, but I think what we have here in Cheltenham in the ecosystem is something very special. We have the largest cluster of cybertech companies outside of London. If your logo's not up here, please do shout to me. I think this is something that what we really want to do is when we're going around internationally, nationally, and trying to explain to people what's happening here, the density and the great companies and the minds coming out of Cheltenham, it's always surprising to people who are talking about new things, learning about new things about the town. And if you zoom into West Cheltenham, you'll see the Golden Valley development. So again, apologies if you guys know the project, but I think for context, this is really important. 2019, the Cheltenham Borough Council made a strategic decision to purchase 2 parcels of land totaling 111 acres. Let me see if I get this tongue twister right. They then subsequently submitted a Western Cheltenham Strategic Master Plan, SPD, for the future phases of the development, which essentially aligned the vision and the framework for the next phases. And so I think what's relevant here, stepping back and where I come from, digging back into this buzzwords, is we have friends in Paris who run Station F. They claim it's the largest startup campus in the world. The landmass here, the 111-acre landmass, just the landmass alone, without any buildings on it, is 50 times the size of that. So when you think about this project and what we're all working on here, the scale of it is enormous. The scale of it is so exciting. And I think if you zoom in further, this is really what it is today. Some friends outside were just showing me beautiful photos of taking runs in the fields. And so we kind of asked ourselves what makes it different. Of course, it's a very beautiful site, but what makes this different to other innovation districts in the world? There are more urban innovation districts that maybe many talk about. And I think besides the differences here locally, you also have community and mission. So the community and mission, I think everyone's here on a Saturday, everyone's here collaborating, everyone's come in. The community and mission of this town and the sector and the ecosystem goes above and beyond a lot of others that I've seen around the world. And I think this obviously historically has been laid by some of the neighbors that you see in the photo since the 1950s, but it's palpable. And the plan for us, so I'm going to start sharing some of the designs. We're going in for planning this summer. So we're pretty advanced in our project and the design, but the plan for us is to partner with the ecosystem. So we're really here to provide growth space for everything that's already happening here, all the excitement that's happening. So we all have a shared mission to innovate and make the UK the safest place to live and do business. We see our role as just providing the physical space to actually partner with you guys to help you do that. And I think there's sort of some fundamental aspects of what we're building and what it's going to look like. So the first thing is it's going to be an innovative place. So we're planning around 1 million square feet of innovative office space. This is space for you guys to come in with your startups, with your SMEs, with your businesses, everything from a desk all the way to big tech and academia. We're providing the space for it. Next is a great place to live. So I think what differentiates this concept and this business from everything else is that we're not looking to build a business park. We don't want to build just another business park. We're looking to build something more iconic, something more nationally significant. And that also means that it should be a great place to live. We're looking to build a healthy place. So sustainability and nature are at the heart of our plans. We've really been working closely with the landscape and some of our concepts to get people out of their cars and onto more active forms of transport throughout the development. And at its heart, obviously something very close to me, being the co-founder of Factory, is what you all may recognize as what was referenced in the National Cyber Strategy as the National Cyber Innovation Center, which I'll get to in a minute. So, in summary, we're building an iconic place, an inspiring place, a place of national significance. And at its heart, we'll have Factory Cheltenham. So some of you may recognize these views. This is right when you come in off of Telstar Way. We're building a 160,000 square foot innovation center to hold startups, government, big tech, academia, all under one roof. I can tell you from building factories in places like Berlin and Lisbon, this is really something different, and this is really something exciting. My 4-year-old's over here causing trouble in the audience. It's also why I'm a bit more nervous than normal. But this project's kept me up, numerous nights, and arguably even more numerous nights than my 4-year-old and my family know. So, as you see, this is really something different that we're trying to drive in. It's right across the street from the donut, and I think the aesthetics of it, we're also trying to be very innovative. We're not just trying to build a set of glass cubes and put them on a field and call it a day. This is something that should have a bit of soul, a bit of passion, and it's really exciting to us. So I think the main takeaway from today, for me and for us, I think, is that I mentioned it before. We're here to partner with you guys. We're here to partner with the ecosystem, and so really, our first building opens in 2026. We have a lot of time from now until then. So I think it's more about thinking about what we can do together from now until then to build this national asset that we're all hoping for. I think it's more about the ecosystem than it is about the buildings. And so in that regard, whether you're a startup and you're thinking about office space, you may be the folks from BSides thinking about event formats, you may run programs, you may have a crazy idea that everyone told you that you couldn't do. I think we want this to be the place where you can try that out. This is the playground for you guys to innovate, whether it's within factory or if it's within the wider site. I think I've had so many conversations with people from town really working on some amazing technical ideas. This could apply to prop tech and buildings and smart cities. So really come and have a chat. I think this is something really exciting to say. We're building an innovation center and an innovation district, but actually, how can we be innovative about it? What could we do differently? What could we test? How could this become a test bed? So I'm almost done here. Don't worry, you'll get to your after party soon. I think for us, it's not just about getting anyone there. It's about getting this early adopter crowd. I think many of you are here within the audience. I know many of you. So it's about clustering the right people first. These people with a growth mindset really looking to do things differently and thinking about how we can scale that. And lastly, I think for us, collaboration is innovation. I talk with a lot of folks from NCSC about this, that innovation can be kind of a loaded word. It's a bit of a buzzword, but I think a lot of it is simply about collaborating. And so if we're all looking to build this national asset, like I mentioned before, what can we do to work together to build it? We've already gotten started, so we've been sort of slow and steady in the background doing a lot of different things. I think people kind of underestimate the amount of work that you need to go through to get building plans in. There's a lot of work going in the background, but we've managed to work with amazing folks from the community. I think we've done 3 international trips with cohorts to places like Berlin, Lisbon, Estonia, to meet the startup community, see what's happening there, see if we can build any bridges between Cheltenham and the ecosystem here and what's happening over there. We've hosted loads of meetups and events with great partners like Hub8, even the team over here at BSides, Plexel, NCSC, and lots of international partners too. So I think if don't feel shy to come and grab me and say, this event we like, but we would like these different formats. We have a long time before this whole site's built out. So I think really what I'm curious to tease out of everyone is, what could we do between now and then? What types of formats could we build? What would be interesting for the community? Are there other places to connect in, nationally, internationally, that might make sense? And I'll leave on maybe a bit more of a personal note, and hopefully to tease out some of the discussions for the after party, if that's okay. But I think for me personally, this isn't just about building a world-class innovation district. If we go back to that innovation district definition, that's a great outcome if we get there. If we're labeled and partnered up with some of the most innovative districts of people doing this around the world, that's a huge achievement. But I think everyone here in the room has a genuine interest to collaborate and work to protect the UK and our global allies to work to support strengthening our digital capabilities in areas like cyber, defense, emerging tech. So I think we need to maybe think about how we can all work together and work on those aspects rather than just thinking about how to make a world-class innovation district. So thank you very much.
So I was actually really personally lucky to be on, he mentioned that there were kind of those delegations that got to go, and I was lucky enough to go to Lisbon during Web Summit and view their building at in Lisbon, where they do a ton, and they were holding like 5 Night Summit events at the same time on their like opening weekend. So he really does mean when he wants events and wants, like, if you want a playground to do fun things, I think his in the Lisbon factory like Instagram had like more followers as a building site than like your main one or something like that. But loves getting involved, especially with creative tech. So thank you, Jeremy, for speaking. It is a bit of a passion project for me because I do love community and ecosystem. Probably wouldn't do this event if I didn't. And I really believe that cybersecurity and especially the ecosystem in the UK as a whole is really, really special. That's my spiel. What I would say is I did want to give you kind of, guys, a bit of an update of what BSides will look like going forward through next year. A couple people have heard it today as we've gone along. So kind of the main things are we'll be splitting into 3 tracks. So we will have kind of copying another con. You'll be able to figure it out. We'll be doing a technical track, a human track, and a foundations track. So we will be here at the race course. We'll be announcing the date, hopefully by, I would say end of next week, but always add a week with me because I've probably said that a little bit too soon. So probably kind of by latest at the end of the month, we will have it, but it will be roughly this time again next year. We will also be looking to bring on 2 new committee members. I love it, and I love my small team. We're a bit too small. I can be an absolute pain to work with, so ask Charlie if you want to know what it's like. He's been there, done that, and we'll give you all the details before you sign your name and have to deal with me on a daily basis. And that is kind of where we're at. We will be looking at a new format for sponsors. We are dropping our highest tier. What we really want to do is bring in more people, more community without barriers. So please keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in getting involved, whether it's to come be a goon, whether it's about talking next year, please do come get in touch. We're now going to head up to the 5th floor for the after party. Just after one more thing, we do have some of the lovely volunteers who have been with me here since about 7 o'clock this morning. Can we please give a round of a hand to the team that has literally made this run? Hold this thought. I realized I've worked with David all day and I actually never got his name because I haven't been in doing AV. So a big thank you to Cooper, who has been doing the recording all day. Most of those recordings are already starting to go up. So if you did miss something that you want to see, when do you think they'll be up by? Tomorrow. I was like, you're so fast. I was a little bit blown away yesterday. And he's come in and done that. He is so good. And David, who has made sure that this hasn't gone to any problems. Can we please give them a hand? Because without the AV, and with that, let's go get drinks.